Welcome, beloved soul. My name is Deborah Lilia, Knight in Tellurico, and I'm going to be sharing a talk with you and guided meditation about the Rose of Venus mysteries. And I welcome you with all my heart. We're going to start just initially with a little short meditation, just to bring ourselves more deeply into our heart centers, so we can be receptive and open to receive what is to flow forth. So let us take a moment to make sure our feet are touching the ground, that you're comfortable wherever you're sitting, and just begin to close your eyes as we take a few really deep breaths together. And just notice with each out breath you release anything from the day, any concerns. So you can become more fully present in your body in this moment. So with each breath you take, you feel yourself more and more present. And then just begin breathing into your sacred heart space, into your heart chakra. And just notice with each breath you take, your heart begins to expand and open. And just become aware now of the energy of Mother Earth beneath you and all around you in nature. Bringing your heart into resonance with the sacred waters of the earth, with the sacred air that is the breath of life, with the sacred fire at the core of the earth and in the volcano and lava flows, and the sacred earth as in the mountains, the forests, the trees, the plants, the deserts, the canyons, the mesas, and all the plants and flowers and minerals of the earth, the soil, and the sacred element of ether that is in all the in-between places. And just honoring all these realms, all these elements. As you bring your heart now into resonance with the heartbeat of Mother Earth. Begin to feel your heart beating as one with her heartbeat. And then begin to send your love and gratitude to the earth for all you receive every day, and to the elemental beings of nature, to the nature spirits and devas, and to the ancestors of the land you live upon, to the indigenous ones and original peoples of the earth, and to your own ancestral lineages. And just honoring this connection with the earth and feeling her love and support beneath you and all around you. Then let us begin to bring our heart now into resonance with Father Sky and the vast universe, with Great Spirit, with the golden light of the sun as he pours his golden elixirs of light to surround you now. And with the silvery white light of the moon, as Grandmother Moon pours her silvery white elixirs around you. And then bringing your heart into resonance with Venus, the beautiful planet of love, of harmony, of balance, and so much more. Sovereignty and so many other energies that she carries. This planet that's close to the earth. And then let us bring our heart into resonance with all the other planets and stars and celestial bodies, with the Milky Way and the galactic center of our universe, which is the cosmic womb of the Mother, where all the planets and stars are birthed from. And then coming into alignment with Divine Source, with Mother, Father, Goddess, God, all that is, as they pour their elixirs of divine love, light, healing, wisdom, and grace upon us now. We also call to the angelic and the archangelic realms to be with us. We call to the star nations, to our star elders and ancestors. We call to the great sisterhoods and brotherhoods of light, to all the enlightened ones and ascended masters, and to all our guides and helpers and allies in the seen and the unseen realms. We call to these ones to be with us. And we also call to our higher self, to our divine presence, and to the wise one within us, to be here today to receive all that is to flow forth in our time together. And just taking a moment now to really just feel yourself more and more present in this moment for our time together. And I just want to encourage everyone to stay or return to this recording, this video, if you don't get through it all at once. I'm going to begin by just sharing a little bit about who I am for those of you that don't know me. And then I'm going to talk about the Rose of Venus mysteries, about the cycle of Venus and its connection with the ancient myth of Inanna, who's also considered Venus. She's very directly connected with Venus. So I'm going to share a little bit about that first, and then we'll end with a beautiful guided meditation so you can feel inside yourself what I'm sharing and talking about. So, just a little bit about me. Again, my name is Deborah Alelia Knight in Tellerico, and I'm a spiritual psychotherapist, an astrological counselor, and soul guide. I'm also a planetary priestess and flower essence practitioner, a writer, and mentor of the Divine Feminine Mysteries. I am the founder of Gaia Sophia Temple of the Heart and Mystery School, as well as co-director of Spiritual Renaissance Center. I've been guiding souls from all walks of life for the last 40 plus years. And it's my greatest passion to help beings move through their own life transitions and rites of passage, and soul healing and initiation with a sense of empowerment and a deep connection to their soul. I also help beings connect with the deeper mysteries of the earth, the moon, Venus, and the cosmos, to help guide them in their lives, to help them feel connected to something greater, to know that we live in this vast universe and earth and that we are all connected. And I also help people connect with their own spiritual path, whatever that is for them, because this is a source of great strength and support and guidance for all of us. I have been working with the cycle of Venus for the last 6.5 years, and it is so much informed my life in so many ways and my work. And I just love helping to guide people through the gateways of Venus, through the 19-month cycle, which I've been doing for the last 2 cycles of Venus. In my counseling practice, I help people heal from deep wounds and traumas, from grief, sadness, loss, depression, anxiety, and to heal ancestral wounds, family and relationship issues, and to also move through all the life transitions with a feeling of connection to themselves, to their authentic self, to their soul, and to something greater, to divine source, God, Goddess, all that is in the earth, to help support them and guide them, and to help them find their own wisdom, to reclaim their own voice and soul parts they've lost, and to develop deep self-love. This is what I help people with. And I use my heart and my intuition to guide me. And I also integrate many healing modalities, including astrology and flower essences, past life regression, ceremony, dream work, to help people deepen into their soul and their own personal empowerment. I live and practice in Sedona, Arizona, and also offer my services worldwide. I've also been facilitating women's spirituality groups, ceremonies, and priestess trainings for the last 30 years. And I offer a free newsletter that comes out 2 to 4 times a month to guide you through the seasons and the cycles of life. And there's a link below if you'd like to sign up. So that's all I'm going to say about myself for now. And I hope this gives you a little feeling of me and what I offer. So today what I want to share with you is about this new cycle of Venus that we're about to enter right now as this video is being recorded. Now, if you listen to this later, we may be more farther into the cycle of Venus, but this will still help you get an understanding of the cycle of Venus. So to first start connecting with the cycle of Venus, I wanted to talk a little bit about how important it is for us to connect with the natural cycles of nature, the seasons, the cycles of the cosmos, because it helps inform us and comfort us and ground us in our lives. We live in a very fast-paced and outer-directed world, in a state of doing more than being. And when we begin to tune in to nature, her seasons, her cycles, the cycles of the moon and the cosmos, and the sun and Venus and all the other planets, it helps us to slow down and to live our lives more in resonance, attunement with the natural rhythms of the earth and universe, as well as our own bodies and souls. So being aware of these cycles can greatly empower us and support us in our lives. So this means in the winter time, honoring that this is a time when Mother Earth actually pulls her energies inward and downward, and we are also guided to pull our own energies inward and downward in the winter, to be more reflective, to be in the stillness so we can receive the restoration and rejuvenation we need from the seasons that have come before. And then in the spring, there's a burst of new life. And we also begin to feel something coming alive in us. We begin new projects and ventures. And this is all in alignment with nature. And in the summer, we feel the fullness of the summer, of the light, of the sun. We begin to gather more with people. We begin to feel the harvesting of our efforts that began in the spring and that were tended in the winter. And then in the fall, as the leaves fall off the trees, we begin to honor the harvest, the second harvest. And as the earth is beginning to pull her energies more inward, we also begin to pull our energies inward. And the moon also follows the same kind of pattern. At the new moon, there is that new life and light that's beginning to grow. At the full moon, we feel the fullness of the moon, and we feel expansiveness. And then as the moon begins to wane, we begin to feel things integrating and coming to completion. And at the dark moon, we let go and release to the dark moon mothers, to a more inward experience in preparation for the new cycle of the moon. And we also do this with our own bodies as we have our own cycles. So women have their cycles of ovulation and menstruation, and the cycles and phases of life that we go through, from birth to maiden to monarchy, to mother to menopause to crone. And when things are rough in the world and in our lives, turning to these cycles can deeply support us, to help us feel rooted and grounded and know that we're connected in something greater. And we also are reminded of this every day in the rising and setting of the sun, in the light and in the darkness. The darkness calls us to go more inward when we sleep, to restore and rest. And in our modern day culture, and for the last 4,000 plus years, we have been living in a male-dominated world where the feminine has been greatly undervalued, disempowered, suppressed and oppressed. But things are changing now, and the divine feminine is rising in our world, within us, within men and women both alike. So, because we all carry both the masculine and feminine within us. But now, since we've been in a more male-dominated world for the last 4,000 plus years, the energies of the divine feminine are more and more important for us to integrate so we can find balance again on the earth. So, the divine feminine carries the gifts that are so important for us, for our very survival, helping us to come into sacred relationship with all life forms. The divine feminine is also receptive and knows how to be in the silence and the stillness. She is magnetic and draws to her what she needs. She leads from the heart with her mind and the masculine as her ally and helper and protector. She leads with love and kindness and compassion from the heart. And she may be fierce at times to protect those that are most vulnerable and tender, including parts of herself. She carries the wisdom of the dark, of the mystery, of the unknown, of the void. That is the fertile womb that we've all birthed forth from. She reminds us how we are all born from our mother's womb, just as all the stars and planets are born from the galactic center and the cosmic womb of the mother. So the 19-month cycle of Venus also reminds us of this deep cycle of death, descent, and rebirth, where we ascend, just like the seasons and all the cycles of the sun, the moon, and Venus. And actually all the planets have their own cycle as well. So going back to the ancient times of Sumeria and Babylonia and Mesopotamia, the ancients followed the sacred cycle of Venus, observing her in the night sky and how she would rise in the morning before dawn for 7 or 8 months, or actually even 9 months at times, when she would then mysteriously disappear for a few months, to then rise again in the evening sky after sunset as the evening star. And then they'd notice that she would disappear again for about 40 days before she would rise again. And this would repeat every 19 months. And they were able to actually see this in the night sky and have their own experience of this sacred cycle. And this cycle became a foundation in their civilization. And the ancient myth of Inanna was birthed from this cycle of Venus. And this ancient myth of Inanna is a very powerful archetypal journey that informs us of this cycle of descent, death, and rebirth. And we're going to just delve a little bit now into this ancient myth of Inanna and this story. And then I will guide us in a meditation. So Inanna is one of the most ancient of all goddesses back in ancient Sumeria and Babylonia. She has been revered in the Middle East for over 4,000 years. Inanna is the goddess of the morning and the evening star, as well as the moon. She is a goddess of love, beauty, fertility, wisdom, and war. Her symbols and imagery are the 8-pointed star and the lunar crescent horns and the rose of Venus. She is often depicted with a serpent entwined staff and wings, connecting her to the ancient bird and snake goddesses. She is a goddess of life, death, and renewal, and often wears blue and lapis lazuli to reflect her connection with the deep waters of the earth and sky. Inanna combines earth and sky, matter and spirit, above and below, vessel and light. She is a life-giving goddess of fertility and abundance, and is also very much connected with the goddess Venus, Aphrodite, and all the other Venusian goddesses, such as Freya and Lakshmi. In this ancient myth, Inanna, unlike the later myth of Demeter and Persephone, of her own free will, makes a conscious choice to descend to the underworld, to attend the funeral of her sister's husband, Ereshkigal. Ereshkigal is the queen of the underworld, whose name means Lady of the Great Place Below. Inanna consciously decides to journey to the underworld, to set her heart from the highest heaven on earth's deepest ground. And that's from an ancient Sumerian poem. As protection, before Inanna begins her journey to the underworld, she entrusts her sacred female assistant and handmaiden, Nishubur, who's the queen of the east, to appeal to the gods if she does not return within 3 days, and to help bring her back. In this story, Ninshubur symbolizes a part of us that stays grounded on the earth whenever we make descents in our lives, whether it's the descent of grief or loss or whatever brings us to descend to the underworld, and also during the cycle of Venus, when we pull away from the outer world and are drawn to go deep within. So Inanna tells Ninshubur to first go to the sky god Enlil, and then to Inanna, who is her father and moon god, and then to Enki, the god of wisdom and water. When Ereshkigal learns of Inanna's journey to the underworld, she becomes furious, and she insists that the upper world goddess be treated according to the rights and laws for anyone that's traveling to and entering the underworld. Inanna begins her descent to the underworld, where she passes through 7 gates. At each gate, she is asked to relinquish some of her magnificent royal regalia, and until she is stripped bare. So when she gets to the underworld, she's stripped naked, where she stands before her dark sister Ereshkigal. And these 7 gates are akin to our chakras. So at each gate, she relinquishes part of her royal garb. And this is symbolically her releasing all old illusions, false identities that may have served her in her life in the upper world, but do not serve her evolution and spiritual growth anymore. So it's like a shedding. She's shedding these old parts of her persona, her self-identity that really isn't aligned with her authentic self and soul anymore. And it could be ego attachments or standards, outer standards of our society or our families or our relationships that we feel like we have to live up to. And it could be, things that we're attached to that really don't serve us anymore, and old identities that don't serve us anymore. So on a personal level, all the different aspects of this myth of Inanna are symbolic for our own inner journeys of our soul. So, as Inanna and as when we make this descent with Venus, when we shed these old layers, these old veils, these old identities and personas, we're able to contact the deeper beauty of our own soul and to meet the goddess within, and the great mother goddess. At the crown chakra gateway, Inanna is asked to release her royal crown, which is a symbol of the ways she's denied her direct connection with Source and God, Goddess, all that is. At the brow chakra, she is asked to release her royal staff and all the ways she's denied her intuition, her inner knowing or inner sight, her psychic and intuitive abilities. At the throat chakra, she's asked to release her lapis lazuli necklace that has protected her from speaking her authentic truth and voice and self-expression. At the heart chakra gate, she's asked to release her royal breastplate and all the ways she's protected and defended her heart, as well as the wound she's experienced in her heart and with her self-esteem and self-love. At the solar plexus, she relinquishes her royal belt or ring of power and all the ways she's abused her power or given her power away to others and not been true to herself. And this could also be old patterns and personas and identities as well at each of these gateways. Then at the sacral womb gateway, she's asked to give up her royal anklets and any ways she's not valued or loved herself deeply, releasing lack of self-worth and any ways she's denied her powers of creation and creativity. Then at the root chakra gateway, she's asked to relinquish her royal robe that covers her and any shame she might have about her body and her sexuality and anything that's disconnected her from the earth. When Inanna passes through the last gate, she stands naked before her sister Ereshkigal, who is enraged with her and puts her before a judge, where she is then killed by her sister and hung on a peg to rot. At this point, Inanna experiences a death of her old self and identity as Queen of Heaven. Then, after these 3 days, when Inanna doesn't return from the underworld, her trusted assistant Ninshubur goes to Enlil, the highest god of sky and earth, and to Nanna, the moon god, and her father, Inanna's father. They both refuse to get involved. So as Inanna had instructed her, Ninshubur goes to meet with Enki, the god of wisdom and water, who hears her plea to rescue beloved Inanna. He fashions 2 beings or mourners from the dirt under his fingernails, and these 2 beings are able to slip through into the underworld unnoticed, carrying with them food and the waters of life that were given to them by Enki, the god of wisdom and sacred waters. When they arrive to the underworld, they are able to soften Ereshkigal, who is in deep mourning, groaning and moaning. The 2 beings console her with their empathy and as they do this, it opens her heart and softens her, so she is willing to hand over Inanna's corpse. These 2 beings then use these sacred waters from Enki and this food of life to bring Inanna back to life, anointing her, feeding her, giving her nourishment, bringing her back alive again. And after she comes alive, she then is able to ascend through the gateways, starting at the root chakra connected with the root and our chakras. She starts her ascent up the chakras all the way to the crown. And at the root chakra gateway, she retrieves her royal robe that she relinquished on the descent. And as she does this, she reclaims her connection with her body, with Mother Earth and the elements of nature, with her life force and her primal nature. And then she ascends and she passes through that gateway and she ascends into the sacral gate, where she retrieves her newly transformed and upgraded ankle bracelets, where she reclaims her self-worth, her inner value, and her powers of creation, her connection with the moon and the cycles of life, and her own creativity. And then at the solar plexus, as she rises up through that gateway, she's given back her sacred belt or ring of power to reclaim her power, her autonomy, her self-confidence, her sovereignty, and her sacred source of energy within. And then she moves up into the heart chakra gate, where she retrieves her breastplate and reclaims her self-love and the power of her heart, her inner joy, peace, and self-love, compassion, following her heart. And then she rises up through the throat gateway, where she receives her lapis lazuli necklace that's been transformed and upgraded, reclaiming her voice and her unique self-expression, her authentic truth, and her sacred sound. Then she rises again, ascending up to her third eye, where she retrieves her royal staff and reclaims the power of her inner sight, her intuition and inner knowing, her wisdom, her psychic and spiritual abilities. And then she ascends further to the crown chakra, where she reclaims her connection with Source, with her higher self, with the universe and cosmic consciousness, with God, Goddess, all that is, and with the infinite mysteries of the divine. And she receives her royal crown, where she's queen of heaven and earth. And what's so magical is that this cycle and myth of Inanna parallels the 19-month cycle of Venus and is directly aligned with the Descent and Ascent. And I'm going to just share with you a brief overview of the cycle of Venus. And in my next video, I'm going to be sharing a lot more detail about the cycle of Venus. I'm just going to give you an overview right now so I have time for the meditation. And in the next video, you'll be able to learn more about more details about this. And I'm going to actually show some slides so you can see that. So the larger cycle of Venus is an 8-year cycle in which Venus goes through 5 19-month cycles. And the map of this in the sky, in the universe, forms what's called the Rose of Venus. And I'm going to put the symbol in the bottom of the video here for you to see. And actually, I'll show it to you right here. It is this. I don't know if you can see this very well, but this is the Rose of Venus in my necklace, and it's this beautiful sacred geometry, and it maps these 5 cycles of Venus. And each of these cycles of Venus is oversold by the energy of the sign that Venus was in when she rose in the morning sky. Some people believe it's when the Sun and Venus join together when she's retrograde, and others believe it's when she rises into the morning sky. So how this all begins is, so Venus goes retrograde, which is happening right now as I record this, and she's in what's called her metamorphic phase. The beginning of this phase, she lets go she completes and starts to integrate the passing 19-month cycle of Venus and all the gateways of the morning and the evening star phases. And during this metamorphic underworld, she literally begins to first empty out the old cycle and complete. And then she joins with the Sun in what's called the Venus star point. And when she joins together with the Sun, she is close to the Earth and between the Earth and the Sun in what's called her interior conjunction. And when she does this and connects with the Sun, she then begins to metamorphosize and transform into the new goddess energy until she rises up in the morning sky as the morning star just before sunrise. During Venus retrograde is also a time that we review and reflect on our relationships and complete anything that's incomplete. Old lovers may return into our dream time or conscious awareness, in some cases even physically, so we can deepen our healing and release what no longer serves our greater growth and evolution. And as I said, we're releasing the old goddess energy and embracing the new. So after she conjuncts with the Sun, then she begins to rise, and then after she rises into the morning sky, every month she joins with the waning crescent moon once a month before dawn. And when Venus joins with the waning crescent moon each month, that is one of her gateways of descent, as she descends to the underworld just like Inanna does, starting at the crown chakra and moving down the chakras. And then, after she's gone through the gateways, and it's 7 or 8 chakra gateways as she descends down, she then enters the underworld, like Inanna did. And in the underworld is when she actually travels in her exterior conjunction with the sun, where she's on the other side of the sun, not between the earth and the sun like in the metamorphic underworld, but she's farther from the earth and on the other side of the sun. And this period of time in the underworld phase of Venus is when she's not visible in the morning sky nor in the evening sky. And she's here for anywhere from 50 to 90 days, depending on the cycle. And this is a time when she does her shadow work, and we do our shadow work with Inanna and Venus. And like I just said, when I shared about the cycle and descent of Inanna to the underworld. So she spends this time in the underworld doing her shadow work, releasing old parts of herself, and we do this too with the cycle of Venus. And then after this period of time in the underworld with the sun, as she's being transformed and transmuted and doing all this deep soul work and shadow work, she then rises as the evening star. And actually, it's not even that she really rises, because she actually sets and is visible in the sky after sunset. So after sunset, you'll see her setting in the evening sky. So that means that she's been in the sky but not visible to us. So she has her chakra gateways, where she begins to rise up and ascend through the gateways of Venus, through the chakras. And every month after Venus becomes the evening star, rising or being visible, not rising, but being visible right after the sunset, she joins with the waxing crescent moon in the evening sky in the western horizon. And she does this, and every time she joins with the waxing crescent moon, we are initiated into a gateway of Venus. And the ascent gateways, where she rises from the root up to the crown chakra. And I want you to just feel this now, this powerful cycle of Venus. And then after she's gone and through and ascended through all these gateways, 7 or 8 gateways, after the crown or the soul star, she begins to go retrograde and goes through the whole the metamorphic underworld for 40 days, where she meets with the sun again, and she begins her metamorphosis into the next 19-month cycle of Venus. So this time, this cycle is so powerful and so profound. And I want us to now just take a moment to just take in what I've said. And just know, if you didn't grasp everything yet, that in this next video that I do, you'll be able to learn more about this cycle of Venus and the mysteries of this cycle. And right now, I want you to just imagine yourself standing at the first gateway of Venus. And you have just decided to take this journey to the underworld. That you've planned this time to go deep within, knowing that all is taken care of in your outer world, so you can take this deep dive within. You have your symbolic assistants that are going to make sure that you're okay as you go and take this inward dive into your soul. And you stand here at the first gateway of the crown chakra, as the gatekeeper asks you to release your old royal crown, symbolic of all the ways you have denied your direct connection with Source, with God, Goddess, all that is, or your spiritual path. And just feel yourself now as you move through this gateway. Just feel yourself releasing any of the ways you've denied this connection with your higher self, with Source. And when you're ready, you can begin descending further down towards the underworld, where you come to the brow or third eye chakra gateway, where you are asked to release your royal staff and any ways you have ever denied your intuition, your inner knowing, your inner sight. Any times you haven't listened to your intuition or denied your psychic abilities. And just feel yourself now releasing this at this gateway. These old ways you've denied your intuition. Just feel yourself letting this go. Shedding. Releasing. And when you're ready, you begin your descent to the third gateway of the throat chakra, where you are asked by the priestess to relinquish your lapis lazuli necklace that has held you back and protected from speaking your authentic truth and voice, releasing anything that's held back your self-expression, and just feel yourself releasing this now. These old ways you suppressed your voice, your truth, your self-expression. Just letting this go now. Breathing it out. And when you're ready now, continue till you reach the fourth gateway of the heart chakra, where the gatekeeper asks you to release your royal breastplate and all the ways you have protected or defended your heart, as well as any wounds you have experienced in your heart, any wounds to your self-love. And just allow yourself to release this now. So just let this go as your breastplate is removed. And when you're ready, you now continue your descent to the fifth gateway of the solar plexus chakra, where you are asked to relinquish your royal belt or ring of power and any ways you have ever abused your power in any way, as well as ways you have given your power away to others, the ways you have not been true to yourself. And just release this now with a deep breath, just letting this all go. Any ways you have not honored yourself or others, just letting it go. And when you are ready, you begin to continue your descent now to the sixth gateway of the sacral womb chakra, where you are asked to relinquish your royal ankle bracelets and any ways you have not valued or loved yourself, releasing any old feelings of lack of self-worth, any ways you have denied your powers of creation or your creativity, and just releasing this now with your breath. Just letting this all go now. And when you are ready, continue to the final gateway in the descent to the underworld, where you reach the seventh gateway of the root chakra, where you are asked to relinquish your royal robe that covers your body. And as you release this robe, you begin to release any shame you've been carrying about your body, your sexuality, and the ways you've been disconnected from Mother Earth. And just take a moment now to just let this go. And you now find yourself standing naked in the underworld. Take a moment now to just feel the dark, voidal, mysterious energy of the underworld. As your dark sister, Ereshkigal, now comes forth and stands before you. You look deep into each other's eyes, and in her eyes you see a part of yourself that you have either denied or judged, or a part of your own identity that no longer serves you, that you're ready to release and let die now, so you can be reborn again. And just allow yourself to see whatever this is, whatever it is that needs to be let go of and released in the underworld. Just allowing this old persona, this old self, to be released. And just taking some really deep breaths and just letting this old part of you die, this old pattern, to return to the Earth Mother's body. And just allowing yourself now to be in the stillness and the silence of the underworld, to release and let go. And I'm going to leave us in silence for just a moment while you just allow yourself to be in the stillness, in this release, and just letting the old die. And now you begin to sense the presence of two beings around you. These beings that have been sent by the god Enki, the god of water and wisdom. And they come to you now, and they anoint you, each of your chakras, with holy rose oils and rose waters from the goddess. Just allow yourself to receive this anointing of these holy waters and oils from the goddess. And as you receive this anointing of the holy rose waters and the sacred oils of the goddess, you begin to feel new life awakening within you. As you begin to stretch your body, feeling renewed and restored from this time of release and rest in the underworld. And just feel this now. This feeling of rebirth and regeneration as they invite you to begin your ascent journey back from the underworld. And they join you as you begin to ascend up the gateways now, starting in the root chakra, where the priestess of this gateway places your newly transformed royal robe upon your shoulders. And just feel this, retrieving this robe, this newly transformed and upgraded robe. And she then places a beautiful red rose in your root chakra to help you reclaim your connection with Mother Earth and the elements of nature, to help you to honor your sacred body, temple, your root, your primal instincts and sacred sexuality, your life force. And just feel this now as you receive this initiation. And then you are now guided to ascend up to the second gateway of the sacral chakra, where the priestesses put your newly transformed ankle bracelets on. And they place a soft pink, peach colored rose, orange and peach, beautiful rose in your womb or sacral chakra. Just receive this now with the ankle bracelets to help you to reclaim your self-worth, your inner value, your powers of creation, your connection with the cycles of the moon, your sexual self-expression and creativity, and to sanctify your sacral chakra. As you've received this fully now, you begin to ascend to the third gateway of the solar plexus. As a priestess places your belt of power around your solar plexus and places a beautiful yellow rose within this chakra to help you reclaim your power, your self-authority, your autonomy and self-confidence, your inner sovereignty, and to activate your powers of manifestation and will. Just receiving this now. As then you are guided now to ascend up farther to the fourth gateway of the heart chakra. And at this gateway, the priestess places your newly transformed and beautiful breastplate upon you and places a beautiful soft pink or deep pink rose in your heart, whatever comes to you. And this rose and this breastplate are here now to symbolize your reclaiming your self-love and the power of your heart, to activate your inner joy, peace, love, and compassion, to support you to listen to and follow your heart, and to sanctify the temple of your heart. And just receive this now. And when you're ready, begin your ascent to the fifth gateway of the throat chakra, as the priestess of this gateway places an upgraded, beautiful, magnificent lapis lazuli necklace around your neck and places a beautiful aqua blue rose in your throat chakra to support you to reclaim the power of your voice, your unique self-expression, and your authentic truth, to activate your sacred sound, your voice, your creative self-expression, to flow forth from you now. And just receive this now. And when you're ready, you can ascend to the sixth gateway now, the gateway of the third eye chakra, as the priestess comes forth of this gateway and places your newly upgraded royal staff in your hands and places an indigo blue, purplish rose within your third eye to help you reclaim the power of your inner sight, your perception, your deep inner knowing and intuition, to activate your imagination, your clairvoyance, your psychic and spiritual abilities, to sanctify and consecrate your third eye temple. Just receive this now. And when you're ready, you're now able to ascend to the last gateway, the seventh gateway of the crown chakra, as the priestess places your newly transformed royal crown upon your crown chakra and places a beautiful violet rose in your crown to support you to reclaim your direct connection with Source, with God, Goddess, all that is, with your higher self, with your sovereign divinity, to expand your connection with cosmic, universal consciousness, and the spiritual realms and dimensions to consecrate the temple of your crown chakra. And just receive this now. And just feeling yourself now having received this initiation through the Descent, Underworld, and Ascent gateways of Inanna and Venus. And just allow yourself to honor whatever you feel in this moment. And to just allow yourself to rest and integrate, as I'm going to end this video in just a moment. Just allow yourself to be peaceful. Make sure to drink plenty of water. You might want to eat something to ground yourself. And just really spend some time nurturing and nourishing yourself. And I just wanted to invite you to sign up for my newsletter below or contact me with any questions you might have. And also, I will be offering a new series of ceremonies and a deep dive into the sacred cycle of Venus, into the Rose of Venus mysteries, where we will journey together with Inanna, Venus, and many goddesses of the gateways. So what I just did with you now, this sacred meditation, we'll spend a month with each chakra gateway, and we'll spend 60 to 90 days in the underworld journey, and then we'll spend time in the metamorphic underworld. So it's quite the deep journey of the soul, and very empowering and healing. So you can reach out to me to learn more about this, and I will be placing more videos up here for you to listen to about the new offering. But in the meantime, remember to drink lots of water, be gentle with yourself as you integrate the little journey of initiation you just went on. And please feel free to return if you need to repeat the guided journey again. And I thank you with all my heart for joining me today. And I send you so much love and gratitude. And may the rest of your day or evening be divinely blessed with infinite love, beauty, and grace. Thank you, and bye for now. Much love and infinite blessings.